So welcome, Roman, and let's see what you can help us understand.
Thanks, Klaus. What I wanted to speak about today was the models that at least, well, more than a dozen of current PortaSwitch customers use. I called it divide and rule. People usually believe that it's a very English expression. It actually, I did a small research. It appeared in English only in early 17th century. The expression itself is much older. It's Greek, and it comes from the father of Alexander the Great. That was his idea to divide the Greek kingdoms and then take them over one by one. So there is nothing that violent in a way people use PortaSwitch anymore. But for some of you who are not aware, PortaSwitch can be divided into virtual environments or partitions. We use different terms for that. And those partitions, they look totally separate from the outside point of view. They can be white labeled, they can be used for internal purposes, they can be used for your customers as well, for your sellers, and for a variety of different things. And that's what I wanted to talk about today, how you can utilize that specific architectural functionality of PortaSwitch for your benefits. Maybe you use it already. So in that case, I will just give you a hint of what is also possible, or maybe it will generate some business ideas for you as well. That's basically done on the review of those at least 13 customers that use that functionality right now. So the first way to approach it is to use it for internal purposes. You can divide the system depending on your specific needs in terms of your product lines, in terms of the group of customers, corporate divisions. Like, to give you an idea, I have a customer in Cyprus and they wanted to launch a cloud PBX business in the States. It didn't work out. They decided to focus in Europe only, and then to launch a totally different business line for call centers. So they plan to do it on PortaSwitch, but in two totally separate environments. Different currencies, different branding. At all, it's the same customer, but with two different brands, two different product lines, and two different groups of customers. So their marketing communication is going to be different, and the backend structure of PortaSwitch is totally separated. So doesn't mean that they earn specific money on dividing PortaSwitch for that, but it's still a useful tool for organizing your business processes. Branded resellers. Usually these are the people who would take your specific product and sell it under their own brand. But the products are defined exactly the way you would sell it. So it's essentially a reseller, the way to reach out to the customers where you cannot do it yourself. So in many cases, you don't put a price tag on that. That's a tool to allow your resellers to resell your products, and you can define the way how you remunerate your resellers. It's either with commissions or discounts. So both ways are possible, but for the reseller, for your distributor, it's very convenient to see their own environment, their own products, their own customers, their own brand, and it's totally separate from anybody else. So they don't have access to any other data of your other customers. That's kind of the second level of separating your resellers from anybody else. Then another step ahead, that would be an independent reseller who uses your traffic but craft their own products based on the infrastructure that you provide. I've seen several cases when people not only charge for the traffic itself, but they also charge for the infrastructure in terms of PortaSwitch partition. So they sort of equip the resellers with additional tools and position it as a benefit, and then that allows them to charge them. Sometimes they don't charge anything but use it as a bargaining tool, or sort of differentiation from competition. We create a totally separate portal for you. You can use our infrastructure. But you need to use our traffic. That's a part of the deal, and I see it pretty much everywhere in South Africa, in North America, and in Europe. That's a pretty common model. The ASP model is sort of the ultimate level of independence that you can give to people who use your PortaSwitch environments. ASP stands for Application Service Provider. So at that point, you turn yourself from pure communication service provider to something that it goes beyond that. So I have at least 3 customers in PortaOne portfolio for whom this is the main business model. So they position themselves as somebody who can provide smaller service providers, say ISPs or small, very light MVNOs, with somebody who provide the software infrastructure for them. So they definitely charge a monthly fee for creating and using a virtual environment. They can control the specific functionality that is available for each customer within that environment. They provide consulting, they provide customization services, they provide lots of professional services around that. They develop their own additional features and portals and functionality around PortaSwitch and sell it up to their customers. So they become kind of a hub for smaller service providers who are not able to afford their own PortaSwitch. And as I said, at least 2 service providers in the world, they position themselves as a kind of reseller of PortaSwitch environments, and for them, that's the major part of their business. So this is a very short overview, more as a basis for thought and for additional business ideas for you. Thank you very much. Awesome. Yes?
Do those guys, are they not all those competition? Are you offering the same service?
No, not competition in terms of that their value proposition is very different. For every customer of ours, as you know, we create an independent, dedicated environment of PortaSwitch. That is obviously more expensive for us, So the fees they charge and the fees we charge are not really comparable. So it's not a direct competition by any means, and that's our internal philosophy. We don't really want to get into competition with you, with our customers. So in fact, we constantly forward the leads we get from the smaller guys. When we disqualify them as a potential PortaSwitch customer, we simply send them as a direct contact to those customers of ours who provide PortaSwitch as a hosted service.
Yeah, I think as an additional comment, like we usually take a very pragmatic view and say, look, yes, these guys may not be a direct PortaOne customer today, for whatever reason, but they may be in the future. So we're trying to find some sort of way to get them into the PortaOne ecosystem, whether that's indirect or whether that's through partner or whatever it might be. Great. Thank you, Roman.
Thank you.